Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. It's a brand new week and it's brand new build day, and today's build is actually sponsored by Mike Lane Mods. As you can see here, I can't hide it, can I? I'm going to be building the Porsche 911 Carrera. Look at this, over 713 parts, and if you see the instruction manual for this, which looks like that, it's an encyclopedia. We're going to have some fun doing this. Now, I don't know how I'm going to break this down. I know it's broken down into packs, but I'm not going to do it by pack. I think what I'm going to do is look at my watch. I'm going to do an hour's worth of building. I don't know what that's going to edit down to when it comes to actually editing the video. And then we can actually add it up at the end of this 100 stages, which it is, and see how it is. Now, Mike Lane does full kits just like this. Every single thing, we're not waiting for parts, is in the box here. And basically what I've done is in the QR code there and in the video description, I have linked to some of the builds that Mike Lane's got on the channel, but check out Mike Lane's website for yourself and you can see what he has got. But I want to thank Mike for actually providing me this to build. This does have a place in my heart because in 1992 I used to work in Sainsbury's in East Main in Basildon, and the deputy manager there had a black Porsche Carrera which I got to drive. So I was like, I've actually driven this car. And I think when I did the Peugeot 205, I had the same experience, that I used to actually own one of those. Couldn't afford one of these at the time, but it is good that I actually managed to drive it, so which is brilliant. Now, I have looked at the first few stages. I don't know how long an hour is going to take, but we're going to find that out together. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Now, I've opened the box. Check this out, this looks lovely, but Mike has also been working hard on this because I've just noticed these slid down here where I've got the carpets all ready to put into this as well. How cool is that? So this is what it's looking like. Now obviously we get all the screws already given to us, so I'm going to have to sort them out first. These come in trays, as you can see, and then we've got boxes underneath which are the packets. Now obviously we're working on stage 1 at the moment. I believe this is where we're actually going to be starting, but it is quite deep, so this goes all the way to the bottom here. So what I'm going to do is sort it out, put it in some sort of order where I can start the build before I click on my timer. Now, do you remember I said that we get all the screws at the start? Well, they're all in this box here, but when I open these up, let me just show you this. There's going to be hundreds of them, I know there is. Look, they're all in their own bags. And obviously there's different screws. You've got the metal screws which end in an M. We've got the plastic screws. Well, they're still metal, but they're going into plastic, ending in a P. But there's hundreds of them, and I need a way to sort all of these out. And the good news is on this build, they do provide a screw box as well. So that's going to be handy to actually keep these things in. So let's take the sticker off this box. I'm going to put this right slap bang in the center there. Nice. Now there's space in here, as you can see, for 28 screws, but there's actually 34 packs. So I think what might be best is some of these packs which have got the bigger screws in, I just keep them in the bags. The ones with the smaller ones, I'll probably put in here. So this is the first tray that we're going to be starting with. They do provide a screwdriver in here. Looks like we've got some tweezers in here as well. And then if I bring these instructions back over again, look at this. This is how big it is. Look, it's just massive. Obviously, everything we need to do is in here. Now, we do have introduction to the Porsche right at the start here, and that's in different languages as well. So that's in English, and then I believe that's French there, German. This is the screw list, so you'll be able to see that. It says there's 33 actually, 33 different kinds of screws, not 34. So there's still like, I don't know, 28, 29, 35. There's 5 screws which I can't put in here because obviously there's not enough little containers for them. This is what we're building though, and we're going to be doing part 1, which is the bonnet, looking just like this. So we're going to be putting that together just like this with the latch. Looks like we've got an electric part to put in here as well. And I keep turning. Then we've got the brace, the frame that's going to go in the inside. So at the end, I believe, once we put this badge on, that's stage 1 complete. So at the moment it's 8:48, as you can see there on my watch, in the morning. So let's see how we get on till 9:48. So if we look at these trays, all the parts are labelled on the top tray here, and the first thing I'm going to be using is part 1D, which is actually this really big plastic frame just here. I also need 1E, which is actually on a sprue, and these are bonnet rests, as you can see. I can see straight away this is going to be a fiddly build, so on come the magnifying glasses. So I've got these sprue cutters here, and I'm going to be cutting off these bonnet rests from the sprue, making sure they don't ping off into oblivion. I want this way round, and I'm just going to be pushing these into place into the small holes here. So one here, they are a tight fit, so they're not going to need gluing, and one the other side just like that. I'm then going to be making the bonnet catch, so I need 2 parts here. Bring this back over, and I'm going to need the latch and the plate that's going to attach to. Now this will be the first time we're actually using a screw, so I need a BP screw. They're in the bag here. They are labelled BP. These are actually quite a tiny screw, as you can see. So this is going to go into the back of the bracket just like that. So the indented side with the keyhole pattern on it is the side that I'm actually going to be screwing this in from. So hold that in position. You don't want to over tighten it, but there we go, that's in place like that. Now bringing this back over again, I need this pin that I've got here like that, and I also need the spring which I've got here, which I don't want to ping off. The only other thing I need is this little plastic washer here, 1M. So to put this together, what I'm going to be doing is putting this pin, I'm going to be putting this washer into position. It is beveled at one side, and the beveled side I actually want to be going near to the top just here. And then I'm going to be putting the spring in underneath just like that. I need to get over these little clips here and take one of them off, because this is what's going to keep this into place. So sprue cutters there again. This is going to go into the hole next to the catch here, so it comes out the other side. Now if I was to let that go, that's going to ping right across the workshop, so we don't want that to happen. So I'm holding that there so I can get this C-clip and put this in the other side and push the C-clip into place. So now that's in, as you can see just there, this can't come out, but it is able to retract just like that. So we get to put this into place now. It's going to be going into this position just there, and it's held in with AP screws. I need 2 of them. Always handy having the screws available before the build starts. So that's 1 in there. You don't want to over tighten these plastic ones, otherwise you'll round the screw, so enough just to hold this into place. And there you go, that's the second one there as well. Now we've got an LED light to put in, which looks like this. With these lights, they come all folded, so if you hold it just here and then really stretch this, it's going to make the wire untangle itself, so it's nice and straight, as you can see. What I'm going to want to do is bring over the bonnet now, and this is what the bonnet is looking like. Again, all metal, this is looking like that, and I'm going to be putting this LED bulb into here. It's actually going to be going into this section just here, and it's going to be facing upwards just like that. Let's put that to one side. Bring this back over again. I've got a little lens to put in here. Having this way round, I'm going to be putting this into here just like that, which is going to create a lens effect just on this side. And then I've got the bonnet now on the soft cloth, because that lens is going to go on top of the bulb we just put in as I put this into place like that. Now this is going to be held in with AM screws. Now I'm going to need 5 of these screws, and because I'm going into metal, I put them in a little bit of oil. Now I use sewing machine oil for this because it's nice and thin, but this just ensures that this is going to screw in nice and easy. So let me get all 5 of these in. Again, you don't want to tighten. When you're working with plastic and metal, don't over tighten these, because all that will happen is you'll end up cracking this plastic frame, even though it can go strongly into the metal frame there. But that's in place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're now going to be putting the hinges into place. These are metal hinges and they are labelled left and right. This at the moment is the left hand side, so that's going to be going in there like that. The right hand side will be going in this side. There is a locating lug in these. And this time I'm holding these in with 2 BM screws each side. So one that side and one this side. That's perfect. Turn this over and you can see I've got a place now for the little Porsche emblem, and that looks just like this. I need to just take off the adhesive from the back. So use my tweezers to line this up. So with that done, that's looking just like this. And that's all there is to do in stage 1. So I'm going to put that to one side. Now we do have a spare C-clip here, which I'm guessing they're giving us a spare because this was quite hard to install and there is a danger of that pinging off into oblivion. Now if I bring this tray over now, you can see that tray is spent. We are done with this tray. As you can see, they do provide a screwdriver if you haven't got your own. So you've got this one here, and if you haven't got your own tweezers, you've got these ones here. So that is now going to move us on to tray 2, which looks just like this. If I just put that to one side, we will take a look at this massive instruction book of what we're doing. This is obviously where we're up to, and we're going to be doing our first wheel here. So by the look of it, we're actually going to be putting the rim inside here. Then we're going to be creating a caliper and a disc. We're going to be putting this together just like that. Quite a bit to do, and this is how it should look at the end of that stage. So gently take the top off here without everything pinging off in all directions. So the first things I'm going to need are the tyre and the rims here. Now I just want to check if there's a certain way round this needs to go. I'm looking at the tread of the tyre. We've got Pirelli on both sides. This side's got the same writing by the look of it as this side. Just looking at the treads, I can't tell, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to be putting it in that way. Put the top rim in. I don't know if I'm going to need to soak this in water. Now, by soaking it in hot water, I can make this softer if I'm having problems putting together. This side of the rim's gone in really easy though. So if I turn that round and get the other side in, and I'm basically matching up the holes here with the holes on top. You can probably see this on the top camera. When I push this in, they should match up no problems at all, which they have. So I don't think I am going to need to put this in any hot water at all. I am going to need some BM screws though. For the BM screws, these are quite big screws, so I can change my screwdriver I'm using. Now I normally use PH0 screwdrivers. For this job, I'm going to be using my PH1. I get a lot more torque on this, and obviously we want this tight, but because I want this to be uniform in here, I'm only going to be putting these screws in enough just to hold that in place on one side. I am putting them in oil because we're going into metal. Do the same on the other side. Again, they're not tight at all. And then just the third screw going in here. Perfect. And then I can make it as tight as I humanly can because I'm going into metal on both sides. Excellent. So that is how that should look. Okay, let's put that to one side. And some tidy things now. I've got this little connector here. I've got the caliper here. And then I've got a length of hosing just here. Now, I'm also going to be using my glue here. This glue is called Glue It. I get it from the range in the UK. It's not available online. But if you go to your range stores, if you're in the UK, they have this here. It's quite a thin brush-on CA glue. Now, I don't want this going anywhere, so the way this goes is I'm putting this in this way in the hole at the top. I'm just going to see how this fits. It's a very tight fit, so I'm not going to need to glue that, but it should look just like that there. Now this is where I'm going to use the glue, because the history of my builds on 1.8 cars is that these pipes always come out. So what I'm doing is I'm putting some glue on the nipple there so that when I push this on, it's on for good. So wiggling that into position. Perfect. That's going nowhere. So I'm going to be putting that onto this section here. Now this is metal. It is stamped R, so we know which one we're working on. The caliper's actually going to be going in this side here. So I'm putting them over the lugs just like that, and it's held in with 2 AM screws. So one in there and one in the other side. Challenge here is to ensure that we are screwing these in at a 90-degree angle. We're not bending it because obviously that needs to sit quite flush in there like that. Okay, next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking the brake disc, and I want the notches on this to be facing up. So this is going to be sitting in like that, and I'm holding it in place by putting this caliper on. It goes on this way here, and I'm holding it on with AP screws. I've already loaded some AP screws into this. So one that side and one this side, and what that's going to do is going to hold that brake disc into place. So that's how that looks. That brake disc can't really come out of there now. Now we've got the shock absorber arm. This is metal and looks like that. I want to hold this way round, and I want the flat side of this to be pointing down, so then that's going to go in like that there. Now I'm holding that in with a BM screw and get that in nice and tight. So I don't want any wobble in there. And now we're actually going to build the shock absorber. So to do that, we need a spring, which I've got here. That's going to go over the top. Then I need the top cover of the shock, which looks just like this. So then that's going to go on there, and it's got this springy effect, as you can see. And to hold it in place, once again, I've got our old favourite C-clip here. So to get this on, I need to push this down as far as I can, get the C-clip, put it around the collar, and then once this is locked into place like that, that can't come out. So now that's one whole unit. That went easier than I thought it would. Okay, what I'm going to do now is actually put this into the wheel. So it's just a case of lining up the notches on the disc with the notches on the wheel, so that can fit flat in there, just like that. And then I'm screwing it in from the other side with a CM screw. Now before we put the CM screw in, we do have another little washer, which looks like this, which is going to go in first. So I'm going to hold that into place, put the washer in, and then the CM screw through the washer, and screw this in nice and tight. Now what I'm trying to do is make sure that there's no wobble in this section here, and it's in nice and flat, which it's looking absolutely perfect. It should still be able to turn, as you can see. So that's good. All I've got then is the hub to put over the top. And as you can see here, the hub here has got the Porsche logo, which just goes in just like that. And with that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. So scores at the doors at the moment, I'm on 924. So let's move on to part 3. And I'm guessing this is probably where we're going to finish up, because check this out. It looks like we're already started on the steering. The steering assembly and front disc brakes here. So we've got a lot to put together here, looking just like this. And then in like that, another caliper doing exactly like we just did to put this into place. So then that is how that's going to look. Just to show you, pack 2 has now got nothing in it. Pack 3, put your hand in here. If you put your hand in here, then pull that off, nothing pings away, you see. Look at all of that though. Wow. Okay, what do I need? Let's lay this out. First of all, I need 3A. So I need this section here, that's 3A. Then I need 3B, which is the long section here. And then I need another 3A, which is this section just there. We want DM screws at the ready, so I've got them in the bag here. And basically I'm going to be putting the first end in here just like that. And holding it in with a DM screw. which I've just touched in oil because this is all metal. And I want to get this all the way through. Now when I do this, I want to ensure that the screw is actually coming out of the other side and not pushing this out the other side. Otherwise what's going to happen is where this is all metal, it's actually going to bend it out. I do want to make sure that that's actually going into the hole that we've got on the other side there. So that's in, and as you can see the screw on the other side there. So that's perfect. Going to do the same on this side over here. I am making sure I'm putting the screws in the same way. And there you go. They're both in place just like that. Now I need 3C, which is that one there, and 3D, which is that one there. So this is going to be sitting this way round, and this is going to sit on top just like that. Then we're closing it off by putting this one on top here, matching up the holes just like that. And I'm actually screwing these together with AP screws, and I need 2 of these. One there, and one here. Just tight enough to hold them together, but this should still be able to move in here like that. Put that to one side, and I've got this large metal section now, which is 3Q. This is all metal, and I've got these 2 parts now to put in here. So we've got 3S to go in first. That's going to go in this side. Just closing the end off there, and then I've got 3R, which is going into that side just there. Now I'm holding these in with BM screws, and we need 2 each side. So that's looking just like that there. And then bringing over what we created last time, this actually fits on top into the 2 positions here and here, and that's going to be held in with AP screws in these 2 holes. So one in that side, don't need to over tighten these, and one in this side. Perfect. Okay, so for now we're finished with that. We can put that to one side because we are going to now bring over another caliper, which means I need, once again, the metal side there, the pipe, and the little connector there. Push the connector into place just like last time. Excellent. Little bit of glue on here because I don't want the pipe coming out. Wiggle this onto the nipple on this side so it goes all the way down there. Take the hub carrier again. I'm going to be putting this into place just on this side here, held in with 2 AM screws. Once again, we want to take the disc and have that with the notches facing up. So that goes in there. We need the other side of the caliper, which is going to hold this into place. I need to make sure I put this in the right way as well. So that's going to go in this way here. That's held in with AP screws. So that's in place. We can turn this over ready for the shock that we're going to create now, which goes in this way. So the flat side is facing down. I'm holding that in with a BM screw just through the center there. So that's nice and tight. And then once again, the fun part. Every time I say fun part, I mean difficult part. So spring, shock cover. We want to be able to push this down just enough so I can get this C-clip in, which goes in here like that, and that's going to hold that into place. Actually, that's really easy. Now we've got this little part here which we're going to be adding to this. These are 3P, and these are little brackets that we've got. We need some DM screws. I'm going to need 1 each side. Okay, what's going to happen is these are going to be going over this section just here, and I'm holding them in with a DM screw. So once again, we want to ensure that that's going all the way through the hole and coming out the other side. So don't over tighten this until you can confirm that that's all the way through, which it is. Then you can make that tight. So we've got 1 in that side there. Hopefully you can see that. And then I need another DM screw in a little bit of oil because I need to do exactly the same thing on the one that we've already created just here. So again, put this on here and a DM screw just through the hole here, ensuring that goes all the way through. Should be nice and loose when you screw it, so you know you're not bending any metal or anything. So that's in position just like that. Now with that done, we do have 2 parts left over in this pack, but we're not actually using on this stage, which are these frame pieces. But that's all there is to do in that stage, and I think that's where I'm actually going to leave it today, which is almost an hour. As you can see, I'm 6 minutes shy. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold down that page there in half so I know where I am. But it's a big book, isn't it? Let me just show you what we've actually done then. So obviously we've done the little catch on the bonnet with the spring-loaded section. That's what the bonnet's looking like with the badge on. I like that. We've created some of the steering rack by the look of it. And we've done 1 brake, 1 wheel, and we've started on the other brake and suspension here as well. So that's all the way up to stage 3. It took an hour. Once again, thank you to Mike Lane for not only providing the build for me, but actually providing these carpets as well. Once again, if you do want to get this for yourself or any of the other full kits that Mike does, I have put a link just here in my QR code. There's also a link in the video description. But I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.